Hello everyone, this is Eye on Africa for Thursday, August 26th. Here are the headlines. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission says gunmen killed 150 people last week in western Ethiopia. That violence spreading and leading to more and more civilians fleeing their homes. A record number of Africans are getting their vaccine against COVID-19, but the road ahead remains a long one. And with just 2 weeks to go until the start of the school year in Burundi, hundreds of children still reeling from flooding in the spring are having trouble getting the supplies they need. Good to have you with us. The state-appointed Ethiopian Human Rights Commission says 150 people were killed by gunmen in western Ethiopia last week. It is calling the incident an attack by an armed group on civilians. The commission says the gunmen were from the Oromo Liberation Army, but that same group has denied any involvement. Meanwhile, the ongoing tensions in the region have led to a huge number of displaced civilians. Nicolas Germain has more on the plight of those who were forced to flee their homes.
While Afghanistan grabs the headlines, the conflict in Ethiopia drags on. The war has already forced more than 2 million people from their homes. It began in the Tigray region but has spread to two neighboring areas, Afar and here in the Amhara province. These people fled their homes and now live in this school.
The
people here say they were attacked by the Tigray forces, the TPLF. Both the TPLF and government troops have been accused of carrying out atrocities. Earlier this month, the government urged citizens to join the fight against the TPLF. It said now is the right time to join the defense forces and militias to show your patriotism.
ከአካባቢያቸው እየተፈናቀሉ ያለበት ሁኔታ ነው ያለው ስለዚህ እነሱን ስታይ ሳትፈልግ ወደ ጦርነቱ የግድ እንድትገባ ያደርጋል ማለት ነው
The TPLF is headed by Debretsion Gebremichael. Tigrayans are a minority ethnic group, but they dominated the ruling coalition for nearly 3 decades between 1991 and 2018. That's when Abiy Ahmed, who's from the Oromo ethnic group, became prime minister. He implemented reforms and made peace with neighboring Eritrea. It earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2019. But a year later, the conflict in the Tigray region broke out. Tigrayans said they had been marginalized by Abiy Ahmed ever since he came to power. Initially, government forces seemed to be winning, but in June, the TPLF stunned many when it took back the regional capital, Mekele. The conflict has already lasted 10 months.
The head of the Africa division at the World Health Organization says the continent has tripled its COVID-19 vaccination rate in the past week. According to Dr. Moti, 13 million doses were administered in the past 7 days, but overall numbers remain low. Just 2.4% of Africans are fully vaccinated. Take a listen.
I'm delighted that in the past week, 13 million doses have been administered, triple that of the previous week. Many of these doses are from donations and sharing arrangements through COVAX. This is a preventable tragedy if African countries can get fair access to the vaccines.
Meanwhile, authorities in Kenya are rolling out a new strategy to reach people living in remote areas. The chairperson of the country's vaccine task force says the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will be used in those parts of Kenya. 2 reasons. The first is that hospitals in those areas do not have the infrastructure to store the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines. Those shots require special freezers. The second reason is the Johnson & Johnson shot offers optimum protection after only 1 injection. So far, about 800,000 Kenyans are fully vaccinated out of a total population of 50 million. Let's take a look now at some of the other stories making headlines in Africa. First, an update on a story we told you about yesterday. The death toll in an attack on a village near the city of Jos in Nigeria has climbed to 36. Attackers raided that village and destroyed buildings in a night raid late on Tuesday. Troops responding to the attack had a hard time reaching the village as a bridge leading to the area was destroyed. Protesters today gathered outside government buildings in Jos to express their anger at the ongoing situation. The city is on the dividing line between the country's Muslim north and Christian south and has seen years of ethnic and religious violence. 9 people have been killed in a crane collapse at a construction site in Nairobi. The crane buckled and came down while a crew was attempting to dismantle it. The deceased are 7 Kenyans and 2 Chinese. They were working on the construction of a 14-story student hostel, a project launched by a Chinese company called ZJCC. Tensions remain high in Tambura in the western part of South Sudan. The UN mission there is reporting heavy gunfire heard in and around town. More than 28,000 people have left their homes, with some 2,000 currently seeking refuge at the UN mission's temporary base. There have been brutal attacks across the country's Equatoria state, leading to the displacement of thousands of people. Children across Burundi are 2 weeks away from heading back to school for the start of a new school year, but some 1,200 of them from the province of Bujumbura in the country's west may be unable to reunite with their classmates. Severe flooding occurred last spring when the Rusizi River burst its banks. Residents are just starting to piece their lives back together, and many families don't have what it takes to buy school supplies for their children.
I haven't got any notebooks yet. I need a notebook, a uniform, a bag, basically everything I need for school. My parents are victims of the floods.
I have 5 children who go to school. I have no notebooks, but let's hope the state will understand our situation. We've been displaced and we've lost our jobs.
Finally tonight, the government of Burkina Faso has embarked on a mission to have the nation's chicken become a protected brand. According to its citizens, poultry from Burkina Faso is in a league of its own and deserves to be recognized as such. It's known there as bicycle chicken. Thankfully, that is not related to its taste in any way, but the local species of fowl is traditionally delivered on the backs of bicycles and motorbikes. Authorities hope that making it an official brand will help develop the industry further. Here's why some say bicycle chicken is the best out there.
The local chicken is very good. We meet with friends and eat. It's very good, very natural. It really allows us to get together. It's excellent compared to other chickens. When it's natural, we can eat without it being harmful to our health.
Bicycle chickens need to be 8 months old before being eaten, while GMO chickens are at most 40 days old. There isn't much fat in the local chickens, but the GMO ones, because they're fed with animal feed, if you kill them, there's too much fat, and that can make you sick. That's why it's not the same thing.
And that does it for Eye on Africa. Thank you for watching. The news continues on France 24 after a quick break.
Fake news. Noun. False stories that appear to be news, spread on the internet or using other media. At France 24, our job is to provide you with information that's been verified. We check sources, we check facts, we sort what is true from what is fake.
At the France 24 Observers, we verify photos and videos circulating online. If they're fake, we let you know and tell you how we spotted them.
In Fact or Fake, we dig into viral stories around Europe to shake out the truth from the trash.
Every day, the Info Migrants team scours social networks to fight fake news about the reality of migration.
France 24, news based on facts.
Liberté, égalité, actualité. A year after the explosion that devastated the port of Beirut, France 24 visits the people who still live there.
Comment on peut vivre? Pas d'essence, pas de l'électricité, pas du pain.
They share their pains, their worries, and their demand for justice. Lebanon is on its knees.
For this blood, I need justice, and I will fight for justice.
Pas d'essence, les gens qui font la queue et les pharmaciens en grève. Enfin, tout est dit, quoi.
Beirut Revisited on France 24 and France24.com. In 2014, the Sewol, a South Korean ferry, was out on the open sea. On board, hundreds of people, including high school students, on a field trip.
As always, I said to him, "I love you, have a good trip. And also, don't forget to call me." But that call never came.
The ship, which was overloaded, sank.
I heard some of my friends screaming and our compartment collapsed. We had no choice.
The rescue operation was catastrophic. 304 people, the majority of them teenagers, died in their cabins. Today, our reporters revisit the scene of the tragedy that traumatized an entire generation.
Revisited, presented by Stuart Norval on France 24 and France24.com.